savings to take care of Karen.
Oh, yeah.
Follow up?
I guess it just goes with what Matt said, if someone asks you why municipalities aren't using, I'm curious why. I mean, I don't know if we do. I'm embarrassed to say.
Well, I think a couple things. I think early on, we made a strategic decision, error. We spent most of our, don't take this the wrong way, we spent most of our time working with mayors. And mayors don't make the buying decisions. That's made by the senior staff directors. What we should have done in retrospect is started with the senior staff folks, which we got to after about 18 to 24 months. We figured that out. Again, we can't keep up with the brain power, but we got there. But the other thing is that we haven't engaged councils. And councils ultimately are the folks who generate and approve the budgets. And that was the other mistake. And so one of the reasons why I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight, Matt, is because we have an obligation to spend more time educating councils about what goes on. But I'll give you a couple things as benchmarks to think about. The first thing is that a highly functioning organization, an efficiently operating organization, will spend about 60% of its non-employee spend. So the employees are your direct spend. It's probably roughly 80% of your budget, right? Payroll and all that. The other 20% is what's called indirect spend, because you're not spending directly on people. About 60% of that in a high-functioning organization is spent in concert with other organizations. Now, I am willing to bet that there is no one in this room that spends more than 5% of their budget through consortia or collaborative buying. That would be my guess. So that's the expectations are wrong. The second thing is that there's a mentality, and it's rewarded by councils. There's a mentality of if my finance director can beat the state, he or she's doing a good job. No. No, 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 no. What's the cost of beating the state, of saving a nickel on a pencil? Think about the opportunity cost. If you can save 0.5% over the state and you spend a lot of time doing it, that's a horrible return on investment. You should be spending your time doing 10, 20, and 30% better than the marketplace, not trying to beat the state. So what I would encourage the councils to do is significantly challenge how you incentivize, through pats on the back, thank yous, and job well dones, how you incentivize performance in your key staff people. Because we're rewarding behavior that is costing you 10 to 30% more than it should. One of the things that you can do specifically is you can set a benchmark. We're setting benchmarks all the time in this country. Set a benchmark of, by the end of X year, we want to have 15% of our buying of indirect spend through consortia. I don't care if it's NEOSO. You can do a state bid, U.S. Communities, National Joint Powers Alliance, AEPA, NEOSO. I don't care. But start to move towards a high-performing organization. I would encourage you to challenge your senior staff on a regular basis to come back and demonstrate that they are moving portions of their budget into collaborative spend with their peers. I would also challenge all of you to consider that collaborations don't have to be among like kinds of entities. It doesn't have to be a city with a city. We're doing an electricity program right now that's a collaboration between 4-year public schools, 4-year private schools, 2-year community colleges, not-for-profits, a city, a village, and I think that's it. Which is demonstrating you're all spending money on the same stuff. So there seems to be this mentality, and I understand it because it's natural, of we can only collaborate with like entities. And I would encourage you to challenge your staff to demonstrate that they can collaborate with non-like entities. So those are some specific things. We bear a significant role because we set this up, initially we went after the wrong folks, but also I think there's a lot that you all can do to begin to change how you're incentivizing and rewarding people within your own organizations.